Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Hari Bolo Girivara Yashodanandana Rajatanarandana Yashodanandana Rajatanarandana Jamuna Tira Anantari Jamuna Tira Anantari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Brajadanandana Yashodanandana Brajadanandana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Jaya Prabhupada 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 Gaura Pinamande Jayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vradgasad Stotra Sutta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Hilaboy Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Sridham Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Iskandi Viti Founder Charya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Tiny Thai Order Pimanande, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all that is to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sharakaya Taksurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrasatam Sahagana Ragunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha Hai Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayeshabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatutamashloke Bhakti bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Ramasamitam Uttamasloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nesreya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God, which is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Om Sarabhyaya Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangom langayate girin yatkripa tamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinatalam. Yatkripa tamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinatalam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class. Continuing in second canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 5, entitled The Cause of All Causes, and 31, text number 31. Taijasat tu vikurvanad indriyani dasha bhavan jnana shakti kriya shaktir buddhi pranas sha taijasau srotram twag grana drig jiva vag dor medrangri payavaha taijasattu vikurvanad indriyani dasha bhavan jnana shakti kriya shaktir Buddhi pranascha taijasau. Srotram tvag granadrig jiva. Vagdor medrangri payava. Taijasattu vikurvanad. Indriyani dashabhavan. Jnana Shakti Kriya Shakti Buddhi Pranasya Taijasau. Srotram Tvag Grana Drig Jiva. Vagdor Medrangri Payavaha. Taijasattu Vikurvanad. Indriyani dashabhavan. Jnana Shakti Kriya Shakti Buddhi Pranasya Taijasau. Srotram Tvag Granadig Srotram Tvag Granadrig Jiva. Vagdor Medrangri Payavaha. Taijasattu vikurvanad. Indriyani dashabhavam. Jnana Shakti Kriya Shaktir Buddhi Pranasya Taijasau. Srotram Tvag Granadrig Jiva. Vagdor Medhangri Payavaha. Taijasat. By the passionate egoism. To. But. Vikurvanat. Transformation of. Indriyani. The senses. Dasha. 10. Abhavan. Generated. Jnana. Jnana Shakti. The 5 senses for acquiring knowledge. Kriya Shakti. The 5 senses of activities. Buddhi. Intelligence. Prana. The living energy. Cha. Also. Taijasau. All products of the mode of passion. Srotram. The sense for hearing. Tvak. The sense for touching. Grana. The sense for smelling. Drig. The sense for seeing. Jiva. The sense for tasting. Vak. The sense for speaking. Doho, the sense for handling. Medra, the genitals. Angi, the legs. Payavaha, the sense for evacuating. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. By further transformation of the mode of passion. Yesterday the text was transformation from the mode of goodness. And today is transformation from the mode of passion. So by further transformation of the mode of passion, the sense organs like the ear, skin, nose, eyes, tongue, mouth, hands, genitals, legs, and the outlet for evacuating, together with intelligence and living energy, all are generated. Purport. The living condition in material existence depends more or less on one's intelligence and powerful living energy. Intelligence to counteract the hard struggle for existence is assisted by the senses for acquiring knowledge. And the living energy maintains himself by manipulating the active organs, like the hands, legs. But on the whole, the struggle for existence is an exertion of the mode of passion. Therefore, all the sense organs headed by intelligence and the living energy, prana, are different products and byproducts of the second mode of nature called passion. This mode of passion, however, is a product of the air element as described above. So we'll just read the text again. By further transformation of the mode of passion, the sense organs like the ear, skin, nose, eyes, tongue, mouth, hands, genitals, legs, and the outlet for evacuating, together with intelligence and living energy, all are generated. So the previous verse, we read how from the mode of goodness, the mind is generated. And here, from the mode of passion, the intelligence is generated. Yes. So this is as we mentioned earlier, very we call technical. This is how the creation takes place. It is very not so easy for us to understand, because Krishna is very powerful. His energies are also very powerful. Krishna's spiritual energy is the most powerful, but material energy also very powerful. And how, if we analyze like our body, each one, we have, all of us, we have body. So this body is functioning under different laws, different very elaborate, complicated systems. A little disorder, then we become diseased or sick. Yes. So yes. So Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport of the living condition in material existence depends more or less on one's intelligence and powerful living energy. Yes. If one has good intelligence, then he can do many things. Yeah. Yes. So we'll continue reading here. Actually, at the end of the purport, Prabhupada is telling that this mode of passion, Hare Krishna, is a product of air element. Earth, water, fire, air. Air element. Okay, text 32. The description continues here. Yadaite sangata bhava bhutendriya manogunaha yada yatana nirmani na shekur brahma vittama. Translation: O Narada, best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature, are not assembled. Purport. The different types of bodily construction of the living entities are exactly like different types of motor cars manufactured by assembling the allied motor parts. When the car is ready, The driver sits in the car and moves it as he desires. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, 1861. 1861. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tistati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantrarudhani Mayaya. Translation: the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So a living entity is within this body that is actually yantra. Yantra means machine. Yantra. So Prabhupada is making reference to this verse here by explaining that the living entity is as if seated on the machine of the body. In the car, the body is moving by the control of material nature, just as the railway trains are moving under the direction of the controller. The living entities, however, are not the bodies. They are separate from the cars of the body. But the less intelligent material scientist cannot understand the process of assembling the parts of the body, namely the senses, the mind, and the qualities of the material modes. Every living entity is a spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Being. And by the kindness of the Lord, for the Father is kind to his sons, the individual living beings are given a little freedom to act according to their will, to lord it over the material nature. And just as a father gives some playthings to the crying child to satisfy him, the whole material creation is made possible by the will of the Lord, to allow the bewildered living entities to lord it over things as they desire, although under the control of the agent of the Lord. The living entities are exactly like small children playing the material field under the control of the maid servant of the Lord, nature. Nature is the maid servant of the Lord. They accept the Maya, or the maidservant, as all in all, and thus wrongly conceive the supreme truth to be feminine, goddess Durga, etc. The foolish, childlike materialists cannot reach beyond the conception of the maidservant, material nature. But the intelligent grown-up sons of the Lord know well that all the acts of material nature are controlled by the Lord. Just as a maidservant is under the control of the master, the father of the undeveloped children. So material nature, those who are less developed in consciousness, those who have less knowledge, they think or conclude that material nature is the cause of everything. They conclude that material nature is the all in all. They conclude that there is nothing beyond matter, material nature. We refer to material nature as Mother Nature, because just like a mother, she provides, she gives. But when we speak of mother, we must also speak of father. Mother cannot conceive. Mother cannot have children without father. So this is being pointed out here by Srila Prabhupada, that those who are childlike, Prabhupada is telling, like children, small children, because they are small, many things they don't know. Then when we grow up, when we get educated, then we become knowledgeable. We cultivate knowledge. So this point is nicely being explained here, that the foolish, childlike materialists cannot reach beyond the conception of the maidservant. Just like small baby, you give him this, he will put in his mouth, because he's conscious about the body. Different levels of consciousness. There are 5 Shastra, Vedic literature is telling us about 5 levels of consciousness. What are the 5 levels of consciousness? The first is the gross materialistic bodily concept. It is called Anamaya. Anamaya consciousness. Anna means food, body. Children, they think only about food. But not only children, also many adults also only think about food. So there are small children and big children. We should not, it is not good to be a big children or big child. So Anamaya means bodily consciousness. Higher than bodily consciousness means my body. Yeah, that is the lowest level of consciousness. That is animal consciousness. The dog also, me, my body. Second level of consciousness is called pranamaya. Prana means life. When the small baby begins to grow up, there's not only me. I have mother, I have father, I have brother, I have sister. So one begins to go beyond the body. There's more than my body. There's other living entities. So anamoy, then pranamoy, larger consciousness is more developed. Yeah. And then when we go to Gurukula, then the third level comes, Jnanamoy. Jnanamoy. Jnana means knowledge. Jnanamoy means going beyond the body, going beyond matter, and developing knowledge. This knowledge will lead us beyond the body, beyond matter. Actual jnanis, they become philosopher. Muni. Muni means one who is having a lot of knowledge. Muni is like Jnani. Yeah. So Anamoy, Pranamoy, no, Anamoy, Pranamoy, yes. And then number 3, Jnanamoy. Then 2 more after, 2 other levels. What is after Jnanamoy? Vijnanamoy. Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge, and Vijnana means realized knowledge. Not simply theory, but means very deep understanding, deep realization. Yeah. Vijnana means coming to the spiritual, transcendental level of consciousness. Yes. Vigyan sometimes also described or translated as science. Vigyan, science. So, Anamoy, Pranamoy, Jnanamoy, number 4, Vijnanamoy. And then one highest, perfect, highest level of development of consciousness is Anandamoy. Anandamoy. Yes. We have one Anandamoy Das Prabhu in Hyderabad. Yes. So Anandamoy is only possible. There's 2 kinds of Ananda actually. Actually, there are 3 kinds of Ananda. One is ordinary material Ananda. Yes. But that is called Chapala Sukha. Not lasting, not fully satisfying. Yeah. Real happiness is on Brahmabhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakanchati, on the spiritual platform, Brahman platform. So the first level of spiritual happiness is called Brahmananda. Brahmananda, the Ananda of Brahman, the Ananda of knowing, oh, I'm not this body, I'm spirit. Yes. And there is higher level of Ananda that is very special and only reserved for devotees of Krishna. What is that called? Premananda. Premananda. Brahmananda for the Mayavadis and personalists. But for the devotees, those who practice bhakti, bhakti yoga, Premananda. And that is a special gift and a special feature of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaura Premananda. Gaura Premanandi. Yeah. Special feature or quality of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's giving this prema. So last few lines of the purport here. Before that, I'll just repeat what Prabhupada is telling. Those who are childlike materialists, means those who are on the anamoy and pranamoy consciousness, cannot reach beyond the conception of material world, material nature. Yeah. But the intelligent grown-up sons of the Lord know well that all the acts of material nature are controlled by the Lord. That Mother Nature has father. There must be father. And the last short two sentences. The parts of the body, such as the senses, are the creation of the Mahatattva, and when they are assembled by the will of the Lord, the material body comes into existence, and the living entity is allowed to use it for further activities. This is explained as follows. As follows means in the next verse that we'll read tomorrow. Okay, just again reading the verse. O Narada, best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature, are not assembled. Yeah. Just like in a factory, in an auto factory, so many parts is there. The wheel is there, the windshield is there, the tires are there. But unless all of these are assembled together in the what is called assembly line, then you cannot use a car. It's not a car. So by the arrangement of nature, all of these parts of the body, both gross and subtle, they are, that is called creation. When a child is conceived, then by Krishna's very wonderful arrangement of the material nature, under his supervision, under his guidance, and based on the law of karma also, a child is, the body is developed. When all the parts are in place, then the body comes out of the womb, and that is called janma, birth. Yeah. So what are the 5 levels of consciousness? Vedic levels of consciousness. Bolo. One, loud. Ah. Two, pranamoy. Anamoy, pranamoy. Then jnana. Jnanamoy. Vijnanamoy. Ananda. Ananda. Anandamoy. Yes. So the goal of life is to go beyond anamoy, go beyond pranamoy, and reach anandamoy. Because only when we reach anandamoy, we can experience full happiness. Question coming up. Yeah. 3 gunas. Jiva. Oh, why the 3 gunas are preventing the jiva to go back to Vaikuntha? This is our first Gurukul question. Because these 3 gunas are 3 gunas exist only in the material world. The 3 guna not in the spiritual world. So 3 guna means connected with the body. When our consciousness is body consciousness, we are under the influence of the guna. So the modes of material nature are for those who are on the bodily consciousness. But yes, because those who are on the bodily consciousness cannot go to the spiritual world. So therefore we have to develop spiritual consciousness. we develop spiritual consciousness by practicing bhakti yoga. So these modes of material nature, it is like punishment. If someone is in prison, he's punished because of breaking the law. So material world is like prison house. So to get out of the prison house, we have to develop spiritual consciousness. So modes of material nature keep one in material consciousness. That is the arrangement, material arrangement, material creation. Material creation is modes of nature keep one in material consciousness. Uh, but we cannot be happy in that material consciousness. So it means that actually in the material world there is two energies working. There is material energy made of the modes, controlled by the modes of material nature. That is called Mohini Prakriti, material energy. And there is another energy that is called Daivi Prakriti, spiritual energy. We are Jiva. Jiva, we have choice. We can take shelter of material energy, or we can take shelter of spiritual energy. Those who take shelter of material energy cannot go back to the spiritual world. Those who take shelter of spiritual energy by process of bhakti, they can go back to the spiritual world. Yes. So it means that the gunas are for people not qualified to go back to the spiritual world. Yes. So, so it means that the gunas is to keep unqualified people to go to the spiritual world. Yes. One who cultivates knowledge of Bhagavad Gita can learn how to disconnect with the modes of material nature. Yeah. So it means it is material world is prison house, and in that prison house, this is our punishment. You know, we have so living entity jiva can make this choice. Choice means to love Krishna or not to love Krishna. To remember Krishna or not to remember Krishna. To serve Krishna or not to serve Krishna. Not to serve Krishna means Maya. Not to love Krishna means Maya. Not to remember Krishna means Maya. So we can learn to serve Krishna, to love Krishna, to remember Krishna by sitting in Bhagavatam class every day. By associating with devotees, by living with devotees. And the more we practice, then Maya will not affect. Yeah. Maya is for the non-devotee. Yeah. We are in the kingdom of Maya. The kingdom, the material world is a place for non-devotees. Yes. Good question. Okay. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam.